Hold on, guys. We're getting set up. Do a couple admin things.
There we go.
Okay, now we are live. Let me get this set up, get the pop-up chat so we can talk to everybody. Hey everybody, Sean Dotson here with the Flip Side. I'm going to welcome you all to the non-PC beer drinking, thrill of the chase talking show. And as always, we've got to have something to drink, right?
Yeah.
Hey guys, if you guys have you need to mute your audio there, one of you guys. So tonight I'm drinking a double IPA from the Catch 22 Brewery out of Denver, Colorado. So if you all got your beverage of choice, go ahead and pop a top, guys. Let's get this show on the road. So I want to introduce everybody, if you don't already know, to Lou and Ronnie of Men Are So Smart. So say hi, guys.
Hey.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys. Hey, Ronnie.
Hey, Lou.
We got to start every show that way.
I lost my pop-out chat again. So, okay, unless you guys have been living under a rock and you've never heard of Statler and Waldorf, as they like to refer to themselves, if you're familiar with the Muppet show, guys, you know what I'm talking about. But unless you've been living under a rock and you've never heard of these guys, Lou and Ronnie have a show called Men Are So Smart. And about a little over a year ago, I became aware of their channel when they did a show titled Alcohol is Good for You and the Fenn Treasure. Now, these are joining a couple of my favorite things in the world right now, which is beer, alcohol, and obviously the Fenn Treasure Hunt. So, of course, that caught the attention of one of our favorite chatters out there, Sledneck, who always is like a step ahead of me when finding new FenTube content out there. So Sledneck found this a little bit before me, and then I found it after one. But if you're interested in watching their first show on the Fenn Treasure Hunt, you'll find the link to that show in the description below of this video, as well as the link to their channel. So now we're getting some feedback on one of you guys down there, but it's gone now. So anyway, there's a link to both their first show and the link to their YouTube channel. So you guys go and find it there. But I mean, they've had a lot of fun with their show and doing the Fenn community stuff. And I've really been working with Ronnie and Lou to get these guys on the show here for the last month or so. And here we are. So I'm happy to have both Lou and Ronnie here. And I really just want to hand the show over to them because that's the title of this show, Flip the Script, where the guests are really in charge of the nut house here. So to Corvette, Ronnie and Lou Gallagher, it's now to you. And one more admin thing, guys. If you have a question of the flip side, you know how to put the @ sign. But if you also have a question, you want to direct it directly to Ronnie or Lou, both of them are in the chat. You can put the little @ sign to Corvette Ronnie, and you can also put it the @ sign to Gallagher Entertainment for Lou. And then that question will be directed to them, and hopefully they'll see it in their chat and be able to point it out. So, guys, you've got the con. It's all on you.
I'll tell you, Sean, somebody sent me a link to that first show today, and the first Fenn show that we did. And in looking back, I just can't believe how far we've come from when we used to shoot the initial shows with our iPhones, and we didn't even have a microphone at the time, I think.
No.
And that show, what we really primarily read it for was because we had heard that there had been some deaths in the chase. And so that was kind of I don't know, call it a real headline, an eye catcher. Yeah.
Yep.
So we thought, let's take that on. Well, I got to tell you, Sean, when we first started doing our show, and this goes for anybody that's starting up a YouTube show, be prepared to get 7 views.
Right. Yeah. If that.
I think I told you that, sometimes I spend as long as 3 to maybe as long as 4 hours editing one 20-minute show. And then to have 7 people watch it, it was like, I got to rethink the math on this.
Yeah.
We don't do math on our program, and Ronnie, he was like, why are we even doing this? And the story, to back up the card a little bit, is that I came to Ronnie with this dream I had about 3 years ago. And what I wanted to do was a show that was entertainment based, but I would host it with and with all due respect, but not with a professional, but with somebody who I think is really, really funny. Ronnie and I met.
Looks aren't everything, though. You know that.
Well, your mileage may vary. Thank you, Tom Cruise. Help me, Tom Cruise.
Going in circles. I'm turning left, Tom. I'm turning left. I'm on fire.
Hey, careful. I'm a NASCAR fan. And so anyway.
You're the one.
I know I am.
Yeah.
So I said, Ronnie, let's take this on. And we talked about it. And we waited for him to kind of semi-retire so we'd have a little bit more time to do this. And that time came, and kind of a long story sped up would be that we've probably tried to quit the show twice that I know of. Am I right, Ronnie?
Oh, at
Been
least.
there.
Yeah.
Been there. Yeah.
And when
you invest a lot of time in it, and we do this almost every Saturday, and then you look at the number of views you get, you're like, really? I don't know. I'm not sure.
What was
exactly
that show? Ronnie, what was that show with the person that sneezes?
Oh,
remember? They were getting more views than us.
Yes, and it was one of our old viewers, and this person would do a show maybe about a minute and a half long of about 30 different sneezes. And had more views than we did with content.
Yeah, I think my 5-year-old daughter could do a show of her playing Roblox and just screaming and yelling, and probably get more views than any of us FinTubers.
Right.
I mean,
right.
in matter of hours. It's crazy, the stuff that's out there that is entertaining, and that people. I mean, my kids watch these shows by this Ryan Toy Kid or whatever, who opens these toys and plays.
Oh
with them.
yeah, I've heard of him.
The billionaire.
Yeah, now he's like on Target and all this stuff.
Right.
It's wild.
Right.
Like, I can't believe it. It's amazing. And I mean, that's not why I'm doing this. I mean, obviously.
So we run this Fenn Egg episode, and we had 7 or 10 views on most of our episodes, and then we got 50. Excuse me, Ronnie, take it.
So, I mean, obviously, we were pretty thrilled, and we're trying to figure out, well, is it the alcohol or is it the Fenn that's bringing the people in? And so we've done shows on why alcohol is bad for you, and that didn't generate any more views. But we tried another Fenn episode, and we had pretty similar results.
Yeah.
And so we kind of had found, and trust us, we do shows on everything.
Yeah, entertaining stuff.
Was
exactly. You did a show on farts, didn't you? Didn't you actually do a show on farts? Yeah.
One show? No.
That was we did a couple, and that one was
and
a very
buns, millennials living with their parents. I mean,
beer,
new alcohol out there, how to grill. I mean,
you
guys are like a test bed for test beds. Like,
yeah. We actually got razors from Dollar Shave Club once.
Yeah, you did the shave show. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Right.
And then we did one. Actually, it was one of a fairly popular one for the time. Is we took apart, disassembled a Glock and cleaned.
Oh
it.
yeah, my gun.
Yep. So and that was a fairly popular episode too.
Yeah.
But I think the Fenn thing is what we really noticed was kind of the big draw. And the other thing that was kind of funny is up front, we had our episodes numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. We didn't really have, so if somebody was searching for something in particular, they may never run across it.
Yeah.
And we listen to everything everybody says.
Yeah.
Hey, got a suggestion for you. Try, putting a hook in the name of your title. And so we've changed, man. We have morphed the show over the last couple of years. It's distinctly different than it was when we first started.
Sure. Yeah.
It was observed that I took a shot of tequila, and The salt kind of got to me there. Sorry, I apologize.
Cheers.
Yeah, he had a dream the other night that he drank a 5-gallon margarita, and when he woke up, there was still salt on the toilet bowl. So I'm just saying that's how Lou rolls.
I need a beer.
Yeah.
Well, cheers, Lou. Come on.
All right.
You got to have a little refrigerator, a kegerator in there, don't you?
I do. I was explaining to Ronnie earlier that I'm waiting for the beer to come home with my wife. So in the meantime, to your beer, I say.
Cheers. So you got the wife on a beer run? Is that what you said?
Yeah, on her way home from work. You know, it's important that you establish your roles.
Does she watch your show? Hopefully she watches your show. Maybe she won't watch this show because if she'll hear that.
I'll tell you this much. My wife, Teresa, played such a huge role in the parody show that we did. I told her what my ideas were.
Right.
And Ronnie, Ronnie really stepped up to the plate on this one because he knew that of the two of us, if we were going to play a man and a woman, he was going to have to be the woman. That was.
So, are you saying he was typecasted?
Well, a little bit. Yeah, more than a little bit.
There was a casting couch, as I recall. So I told her that
we could do a whole show on that one, couldn't we?
Yeah.
I told her that Ronnie was going to need a blonde wig and he was going to need a dress. And that's all I told her. Oh, and I told her that for me, I was going to need a white shirt with a white tie. Right. And that was one of Ronnie's observations.
Yes.
And so she could not find a white tie, but she brought home a silver one that was just equally as good. But the dress that she picked out for Ron was priceless.
And what happened to that dress? Do we know what happened to that?
I have it sitting right over here. It's about 6 feet away from me where I dropped it when I came home.
So right next to Monica Lewinsky's dress.
So Ronnie, what were you wearing on the Walk of Shame then?
I had gym shorts on. That's about it. Yeah, and
there's some behind the scenes right there. I didn't even know that.
That is a mental image right there. I think I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. I don't know.
What's really disturbing is my wife and my son came home while I was getting into my outfit, and then my son goes, "So is this what you do whenever we leave?"
If your wife should have played it off and said, like, "Son, there's something we need to tell you about your dad." Yeah. Now that would have been great.
This is not the first time.
Right. Well, and then when I was wearing the wig, my dog was like, "Oh, hell no, who is this person?"
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and my dog started growling and nipping at me because he was not real, like, "I don't know who you are, but you're in the wrong house."
Yeah, and that dog hates me. That dog hates me. I have a pair of shorts that has a dog bite hole in them about 4 inches from an inappropriate dog biting place.
Yeah, Buster does not.
That's a little bit too much information there, Lou.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Buster does not like too many people.
It's because he wasn't wearing the dress, Lou. Put the dress on. Maybe he only nip at you. He won't take a bite out of you. So tell us a little bit about yourselves. I mean, how did you guys meet? Like,
okay.
Well,
right. Go ahead, Monty.
Well, I was about 3 years older than Lou. I think 2 years older.
Yeah.
And but I was, I think, 3 years older in high school. I was class 75, you were class 78, I believe, right?
So you get less years apart the older.
77.
So Lou's aging progressively faster
yes.
than you, I see.
Yes,
well, he might have been held back a year. I'm not sure.
Closer to the equator or further? Is he further to the south of Sacramento or Sacramento? How does this work?
But I was a total band geek, and I was playing in a group. In fact, I played in several like electric guitar bands in high school.
And when was that? What time frame are we talking about? Like,
so it would have been like 1974 and 1975.
Okay.
And Lou came to me one day in the lunchroom. I pretty distinctly remember it, and said, "Hey, talent show's coming up, and I want to have a band, and I want you in the band." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm only in 2 bands. I think I can pull that off."
And bowling on another night.
Yeah. And
that's a good
so,
mix. That's the way to pick up chicks. One of the two is going to work, right?
Definitely. And always the guitar players get the chicks.
Right.
So we did. We played at the talent show, and it was a big hit, and we were so. The other band I was in was wildly popular in school. We were the junior Birdmen when we were juniors, and then we were the senior Birdmen when we were seniors, and we would play Surfing USA, and then the whole everybody in the rally would go crazy. And that was really the only song you had to know was Surfing USA. And that was the time of year it was. Yeah, that was pretty popular.
And you're both from California, so of course that's
Beach Boys.
Yeah, that's
yep. All the surfing out here. So anyway, so we did the talent show, and we kind of went on. We stayed. I kind of quit the other 2 bands, and our band has stayed together ever since.
Yeah, you know what? Let me just say this. I taught myself how to play guitar, so I'm only that good. Ronnie he's an absolutely great guitar player. And, you know, a quick story. When we rehearse in this big boat warehouse. And one day we were doing it in the office because it was the only place that had air conditioning. And I wanted to step out and have a smoke, but Ronnie doesn't. So I went out into the warehouse and closed the door, and we played a song with me outside away from the band. Ronnie and I started on exactly the same note and ended on exactly the same note, and we couldn't even see one another.
And you were playing outside, and he was playing inside.
Exactly.
Right.
That's how tight we are.
Wow, you guys are like twins.
Well,
like connected.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. We might just be. I'm not sure we have 2 brains. We're like sharing one brain, maybe.
We have one brain cell, right? Right.
Yes.
So our band has played for the last 45 years or so. I put that band together back then for that talent show because we had one sole purpose, and that was to get girls. And we really didn't even care about the music. That came secondary. It was a byproduct, and it worked real well. Nowadays, flash forward, we get together and it's all about the music, and the last thing we talk about is girls ever.
Right. Right. Yep.
Well, you already got the girls, right?
Oh yeah.
True.
And speaking of the girls.
Did the beer show up?
Mrs. Gallagher? Yeah, it looks like she's gonna have to make 2 trips.
Oh wow!
Mother Teresa showed up with the sacrament.
Yeah.
Right. We got to see what she brought. We got to see what she picked out for you. What's your beverage of choice, Lou?
Well, tonight
Miller.
Oh, there.
Go ahead. Miller Genuine Draft. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say Miller Genuine Draft. Yep.
That one right there. That's an empty. Yep. That's an empty one.
Yeah, that was my father's beer there. And Lou or Ronnie, what about you?
You know what? I don't drink a lot, but I do have a favorite. Actually, 2 favorite beers. One of them is I'm not sure if they're local or not, but it's 805 Brewery, and we got introduced to it honestly doing a live remote.
Yeah.
And we were at a bar out in Knights Landing, and they said, "You want to try beer?" And I said, "Yeah, whatever you think is good." And she brought me this 805. It's my new beer of choice.
I'm gonna look that one up. I wanna find that.
It's really good. And then the other thing I kind of like is Shock Tops. So
okay. Do you put the orange in it too?
Absolutely.
I can't. That's a wheat beer, is it not? It's
yeah.
It's kind of like a wheat, like a Hefeweizen, right?
Yes.
I gotta tell you a story about a Hefeweizen. The first time I ever had a wheat-based beer like a Hefeweizen was in Frankfurt, Germany, and I had flown in there. And this is let me see if I can remember this. I think it was 98 or 99. I was flying into Kosovo to go spend a year tour in Kosovo, and I flew into Frankfurt, and me and the guys, a couple of guys I met, they're EOD guys, and we went out to one of the local bars, and it was my first time through Germany there. and we went to a local bar there, and I said, well, what's a good beer here? And they said, well, we're going to give you, and they didn't even tell me what it was. They gave me this beer, and I took a big drink of it, and I literally spit it out.
Oh,
and I swear to God, I thought I was going to get my ass kicked in that bar, like, because that was their Budweiser, like that's their
Right.
Budweiser, and here is this American Yank or whatever you want to call it, you know, that spits out their beer, and I've just never had a taste for wheat beer. I don't know, something about it just. I mean, if it's the last thing in the fridge and I'm really desperate, I might nipple it
hey,
down.
Ronnie,
You know,
Ronnie,
Yes.
does this remind you of anything? This beer?
That's a champagne of beer.
Yeah. Yes. There it is.
Tell that story.
Okay.
Well, are you talking about the little concert that we did, the one in at UC Davis?
Oh, no. This was the one we did in the right outside in high school on the stage that they had outside. Remember, we did that song.
Oh, yeah.
If you've got
You
the
got
time,
the time.
we've
got
got
the beer.
Right
Miller.
back here. Yeah.
Yeah, they escorted us off the stage when they found out that we had beer, so we were done.
Who knew you couldn't take beer in a high school campus?
When you're 17.
Yeah.
That's fine. That was the quicker you got to the party, right? And everybody like, those are the guys we need to hang out with.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly why I loved your guys' show, because here you are doing a show about alcohol is good for you and the Fenn treasure. I was like, these are my kind of dudes right here.
You bet. You know, we really are.
Tasty or not, these are my guys. Somebody, Susie Finhave is asking me, she said, ask the guys, what is their first impression of which state the treasure is hidden? So before we get to that, Susie, and I'll get back to your question, let's transition a little bit into how you guys got into the chase, because you guys have been in the YouTube community for well over a year and a half before you ever even heard about the Fenn treasure. So you guys were doing all kinds of videos. Again, we joked about the man buns, the millennials living with you, the fart videos. I mean, grilling steaks, cars, what car not to drive, that kind of shit. Great videos. You guys got to go back and watch some of this stuff. But how did you guys, March 6th of 2018, all of a sudden you do this half video on the Fenn treasure because all these guys were dying? What attracted you to this? Was it just that, or how did you hear about this? That's before we get into Susie's question. So how did you guys hear about this?
Well, I originally saw the 60-minute interview, I think it was, with Forrest Fenn, and that was several years back. And it caught my eye, but I'm not really a treasure hunting kind of guy per se. I'm just a normal beer drinking, truck driving, loving country music kind of guy.
God loves you.
I know, and I don't do a lot of treasure hunting. So, we do a lot of research on. I don't know if you'd be able to tell from our shows. We don't do a lot of research on the fart episode, but in most cases,
you don't have to. That's like a skill. I mean, it's a skill set.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for that. Appreciate that.
It's not a skill set. It's a man set.
Yes, it is.
It kind of is.
And a marketable skill at that. So we thought, well, show business, when you break it down, it's all about giving the people what they want. And in order to have a successful YouTube show, I think along the way, something drops in your lap and you go, wow, the people really notice that. So it was at that point that Ronnie and I started viewing and reading virtually everything that we could find. Right, Ron?
Oh, yeah. We did a ton of research. We watched every YouTube episode out there on the Fenn treasure, and there's still things on TV about it, and so we would watch that, and it just really was something that, like, we're not going to fake anybody out here for blowing smoke up somebody's ass. They're going to realize it right away, and they're never going to watch again. So we did have to become a little bit more, and the learning curve was pretty steep. And the Fenn audience is a little bit unforgiving if you don't know what you're talking about.
Yes.
So we did have to learn a lot in a short period of time. And we did a lot with no book even. We didn't get the thrill of the chase until just 2 months ago, maybe.
Yep.
And so it was a lot of, like I said, secondhand stuff, learning from other people's mistakes and seeing what people are saying and trying to, and then we would get people that send their solves into us.
And you guys
And
took a lot of heat for that. You guys, that first
boy.
one you guys did, I mean,
Yeah,
that was called Vanish.
that was a lesson for you guys. I mean, really. I mean, I thought it was a great episode. I thought what you guys did was great in putting it out there. But I mean, man,
I have another episode. I have another episode that's coming very quickly. In fact, where did it go? I have it right here.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
This is the one I'm going to be. I'm on vacation this week.
It was like the top 10 list from Johnny Carson here. Let's go.
We'll be bringing you this solve very soon. And when you see it, you're going to go, whoa, that makes perfect sense. And I'm going to illustrate it with pictures. And it'll be something to think about. It's coming up in the next 10 days or so. Go ahead.
I think people enjoy seeing other people's solves.
Well, that's what I think too.
I mean that one that you got right there could have came from Forrest Fenn, and it could be the correct one. And I mean, Ronnie's nodding his head over there. You guys have said this before, even on your own show, is that we could read the correct solve and we would completely tear it apart, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And before we released that solve video, we talked about some of the repercussions because we knew people are they're going to say you guys are crazy, and we may lose some viewers, but we thought it was worth a shot. It was at least coherent. And so we thought, we're going to publish it. We're going to throw it out there. And, without saying, hey, this is the, be all end all solve, take it or leave it. Take it, listen to it, see what you have to think. If it's something that, hey, there might be something in there that is maybe one of his clues is correct.
Yeah.
Right. And, Ronnie and I believe we're both working the day that episode, which is called Vanished. The treasure is vanished.
Yep.
We were both working that day, but along with the gentleman that provided us with that information, I alerted all three of them that, hey, you better be by your phone all day today because the comments are going to start rolling in.
It went wild. Yeah, it did.
It blew up. Yeah.
And, that's another thing, too, about our channel that I'm really proud of with Ronnie. We get a lot of comments, Sean, and a lot of email. I can't even begin to tell you how many email I get. And Ronnie the same. But we do everything in our power within a time frame to reply to everybody that takes the time to comment. I've been doing broadcasting a long time, and viewers are the most important thing about any of this. Yep. And I know this to be true, Sean, because you would not have your show if you did not have people watching. Yep. So Ronnie and I are just extremely thankful for every single one. And I think about this. If you take the time out of your day to send me a comment or an email, the very least I can do is A, thank you for watching, and B, respond or reply or answer your question, whatever the case may be. And no matter how big the show gets, God only knows. We're growing at a great rate right now. We're all both very excited, but that'll never change. We really appreciate our viewers.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add to that, Ronnie? I want to say something about that, but I want to get your comments on that. I mean,
well, it is the same thing. We get a lot of comments. In fact, some of the comments we get are a little bit out there, and it's like I'm trying to make sense of what the person has said, and I just can't. And so I'll give it a thumbs up and try to put a funny spin on it, if nothing else. But, some of them are just over my head. I don't know. Maybe they didn't take their psych meds in the morning. I'm not sure. But some of the comments are really bizarre. But I reply to everything. And I don't know how long I've been watching YouTube videos, but years. Since I've retired, I watch a lot more. And the ones when you say something like, you tell somebody, hey, nicely done on the video, and then they say, wow, appreciate that, that they're responsive also, and it makes me want to watch their channel just that much more.
Yep. Well, I've got to say, there's something that the two of you have done that a lot of us other fin tubers can learn a lot from and do a better job of, and that is you guys communicate so well with your community through your emails, your comments on your videos, and then your Sunday Mass, where you're actually, after you actually put it out there live onto YouTube, that you're there right after it and you're responding to those people that are commenting after watching your 15, 20, 40-minute video or whatever. I think you guys do an amazing job. You put a lot of effort into that. If you were to average it out on an hourly, how much you put into it, and Lou pointed out very careful how much hours he spends in editing stuff, that you're making less than some kid in China putting shoes together for 10 cents an hour with no potty breaks. It's ridiculous. And that's a big reason why I started doing live shows, because Lou, I agree with you. The time that you put into editing and you put something out there. I can't believe you guys only did 2 takes on the whole, hippies lips, outtake, golly, how many times do you guys want to kiss? Geez. But I totally understand. So that, when I was watching other fin tubers doing live videos, it just made it so much easier to do live. And I'm really looking forward to the both of you, doing live shows, because the thing about doing a live show is it's not, I hate to say brutally honest, but you're just yourself. You're just honest. Right. You're flowing with it. You're communicating with the chat room, which we're obviously totally ignoring right now. And I will get to Susie's Fenn Havens and other questions in here. But it's very difficult, and I've said this before in other shows, and even the test show that we were doing. And Ronnie pointed it out. Ronnie nailed it on the head when he did the review of the Flipside show that you both watched for the first time, is that the people in the chat room, half the time they're not even watching the show. They're chatting amongst each other, and that's perfectly fine. We're giving them an opportunity to communicate with their friends that they've made a relationship with. And if they're ignoring the show, that's perfectly fine. And it's very difficult as the host of a show and even a guest of the show to even watch the chat room, because you're trying to listen to the conversation that's going on. That's
and nobody wants to watch you read.
Yeah, and I'll give some credit over to Toby and Shelly. They do a really good job of watching the chat room. Shelly's kind of the admin, and she kind of watches, and that's why we don't hear a lot from her. But when we do hear something from Shelly, she's got some great ideas, and I wish we could hear more from Shelly sometimes. That's no knock on Toby, but I'm just saying, her duties are kind of watching the chat room. She does a really good job of that, and that's you're going to find this really hard in the live environment to do, is to be able to do such a good job in what you're doing now, that you're going to want to do that during your live show. And it's going to be difficult, guys. I'll give you that right now. So just be mindful of that challenge that you're going to have, but love what you guys are doing, and definitely keep forward. So let's, do you have any comments back to that? If not, I'm going to go over to the chat room and just kind of highlight a couple things that I see.
Well, I'd love to be able to get to the parody, but let's hold off on that. Let's talk about the chat room.
Yeah, Susie Finhaven asked a question. This is the first one, and I've got it froze right here so I can go and see it. There may be more, but Susie Finhaven, who has a YouTube channel, and I love her. I used to call her my wino auntie, and I hope she doesn't take offense to that. I love her. But Susie asked the guys, what is their first impression of which state the treasure is hidden?
It's changed so much.
Yeah,
for me anyway.
My belief, and this is only, I just got to think of an 80-year-old guy. He's going to stay in his home state. And so I base everything on it's in New Mexico.
Yep, me too.
He has a lot of opportunity. Obviously, he's a pilot, and I don't think he flies anymore, but I'm sure he has friends that fly.
Sure. He's got a nephew that flies.
Yeah. And so,
or a grandson, not a nephew.
He could get literally anywhere in any of the 4 states, but I really feel like when he hit it in his home state.
Now, is that your, and this is probably a follow-up question I think Susie would probably ask, and some of the chat community would like to know, is that your very first impression before reading the book or after reading the book? And did your opinion change?
So that comes before reading the book. I'm looking at it like an investigator would look at when he's trying to solve a crime. A lot of people that commit crimes, they don't go too far from home to do it.
Yeah.
And so from that same perspective, And I don't get anything in the book. I don't see anything in there. I mean, he mentioned so many different places, you know, Yellowstone and Hebgen Lake and all these places numerous times. I just don't think, I mean, I don't know. It hasn't changed my mind anywhere where to start the search.
For me, I was thinking Yosemite for a long time.
Yosemite?
Did I say Yosemite? I'm sorry.
I love Yosemite. We can talk about where's Davio 22 in the chat room. My brother from another mother would love to talk about Yosemite.
Actually, what I meant was Jellystone.
Jellystone, yes.
Now that's
hey boo boo. Hey boo boo. You got a big basket.
Hey boo boo.
Yeah, you know, it just seemed like so many people were talking about being in the mountains, and you know, and I also think that Fenn included 4 states just to broaden the area of search and area of interpretation. So I believe he threw in the other 3 states, and kind of like a deflection. And I believe that the treasure is somewhere in New Mexico or Jellystone.
And like I asked Ronnie, is that your initial impression before reading the book? After the book, has that changed at all, or you pretty much stuck with that?
My opinion changed before reading the book, and confirmed afterwards.
Okay, so you pretty much felt New Mexico. It sounds like the both of you pretty much felt New Mexico before ever reading the book.
Individually, though.
Yeah. And that stayed the same. That hasn't changed. And I like.
No.
Yeah. And I like Ronnie's idea, you know, from an investigative standpoint. We know a little bit about your background, which you haven't shared with us, but you did share that with me. But yeah, from your little bit of your background, you see that, you know, like if you're profiling somebody, I guess you would say that experience teaches you that somebody, a criminal. Thank you. Yeah.
Somebody doing some type of crime. I mean, it is getting a little bit broader now. We're starting to see people get in their cars and drive somewhere to commit a crime because every place has cameras now.
Yeah.
And so when they release a video to the local people, they're like, well, I've never seen those people before. Well, that's because they're from 2 towns away.
Right.
But by and large, I don't think that an 80-year-old guy thinks like that when he's hiding a treasure.
Sure.
Right.
Sure. And what did he say? You know, it was done in one afternoon, and some people believe that he was back for supper, you know, when he did it, you know, so a lot of people want to believe, if you have that preconceived belief that it's already in New Mexico, a lot of those things that you're read and hear about is going to be, you know, confirm that pre-existing belief. That's confirmation bias, how it works for us.
Right.
So I've got another question from Huli. I think used to be called H-Bird in here. She says, do Ron and Lou have goals? And I think she puts in parentheses numbers / monetary for their channel. So Lou, I'll start with you.
Okay, sure. Well, prior to us going live with you tonight, I checked our page and we were at 99,065 views overall. And one of the goals that we had to reach this year was to reach 100,000. And honestly,
I thought
I thought it would probably be more like November or December. But thanks to our viewers.
Yeah.
In the next couple of days, we're going to turn that milestone, and that's been big to us. Now, you know, obviously,
the next goal,
that's going to be pretty lofty.
Might be a little tougher. We want to get to 1,000 subscribers.
We're at 555 tonight.
Awesome. Great number. 555. Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, we're getting close, and you know, you want to set your goals. You want to set the bar kind of high. And so, hey, if we get our views, then that's one thing. And, you know, who knows? Subscribers sometimes, man, we had a spike like you can't believe about a month ago. And so a couple more spikes like that, and we could be right up at 1,000.
We would like to monetize. Sure.
Do you recall what your, and this is just my question, but do you recall what your subscriber numbers were prior to, you know, episode 211 in March of 2018?
Yeah, I would imagine it was probably somewhere around less than 180.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, a huge spike for you guys. Yeah. Great. Yep.
And, you know, and here's the thing. This is so important. Ronnie and I do not make a single dime off of this program as it is right now.
No.
And so please understand that our goal is to consistently put out great content that people will take the time to watch. Yeah. And we're constantly on a search for that. As you've mentioned already, we don't just do the Fenn shows. We do other topics as well. We try to keep them mainstream. We try to keep them topical. We try to keep them interesting. We know that our audience is primarily men. I can tell you that we watch the numbers. I should say I watch the numbers very closely from my phone. I see them all the time. Our demographic is 98% men and 2% women.
But I will tell you this too. I have seen a lot more women comment on the video now. So I think maybe we've turned the corner just a little bit and maybe pick up another % or 2 of female viewership, which would be great.
Well, with the name of the show being Men Are So Smart, there's going to be some sort of a disparity amongst women and a misunderstanding in the sense that it's not a show that's called Men Are Smarter Than Women.
No.
It's not even a show called Men Are Smarter Than Anybody Else.
No.
And the truth of the matter is, as far as smartness goes, we prove every episode that we're not really that smart, John.
Yeah.
And the proof's in
but
the pudding,
we're having fun, and that's the whole point. I mean, I think what you guys did with your parody is us in the FenTube community, sometimes we just take ourselves way too damn serious.
Yeah.
And we just need to have fun. We gotta poke fun at ourselves. We gotta poke fun at each other, and we just gotta have fun with this. We're all competitors in this, and that was one of the questions that I got asked by this this darn documentary crew. How do you do this? I mean, you're all competitors in this, and I'm like, the thrill of the chase is different from every person. And for me, I'm just having fun. And we just take ourselves way too seriously. We've had other FenTubers out there that put videos out there that were just having fun, and some people took it way too seriously and ran some people off, and it's unfortunate that happens. And I think we just need to sometimes be able to laugh at ourselves, and we get a lot of critics, and we get a lot of people that can be mean-spirited sometimes, and say things that you got to look at and you go, okay, what does this person really mean? But if we just relax and have fun, and what you guys did with that parody and what other people have done with some other parodies out there is just, we got to have fun with this. I mean, we're all in this treasure hunt together. We're all in this same boat. Sometimes we're on a different paddle, rowing in a completely different direction and turning the ship around. But it's just fun. And I think what you guys are doing, and what people, in my opinion, and what I've seen in your comments and emails I've gotten from people about you guys, is that you guys just have brought, and not still bringing, just a very fresh perspective, from people who, two guys that are not searchers, that just stumbled across this thing and are giving an outside perspective. And that is so refreshing, and that we need it. We're so, us FenTubers out there, and those of us in the chat, and those of us that have forums and are communicating the forums, we're so biased and stuck on our own. We're so tightly focused on our own solves. Exactly. Thank you. That sometimes we miss these things, and you guys bring that and can sometimes reel us in, so to speak. And I think you do a good job of that. So don't ever become searchers.
No,
if you become searcher, no,
no, there's no way.
And I hope you do. I'm not saying don't ever, but but I think that's good.
Yeah.
And I rambled on, but I know there's other questions in here, and I want to get to what some of these people were saying. But
all right, well, let's if we could, let's talk about the parody. First of all, let me just say this. One of the things that Ronnie and I try to get across to people is that there is room for every kind of a Fenn show that you could possibly imagine. It's not that one show is better than another. Sometimes it's just one show is different than another.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we try to do is, since it's taken so long for anybody to try to discover where this treasure is, and so many different theories, we feel like if we propose, well, look, here's a possible solve, which is the one that we did. is this the solve? What we're doing is we're putting that out so that people will go, that relates to my solve this way. Or, I learned something from that may help me understand this over here.
Yep.
It's not that we're saying this is the ultimate solve. What we're saying is this is a possibility. This is one that we've looked up and down at, and maybe you might find some things in here that might be of interest to you. So,
well, I will just say this. I'll say this about the parody, though. We did not do it it was not mean-spirited.
There are no malice.
None. And by any stretch of the imagination, I mean, they put a lot of work in. Those guys, they record for hours and hours and hours. And that is not what we are about. Their show, I don't think we share a lot of viewers, but we share a few.
Sure.
But certainly what they're doing is amazing. And, we tried to poke a little fun at it. Trust me, after we did the Treasure Has Vanished, we had a parody about us. Remember that one, Lou? The guys with the mask or something, wasn't it? Yeah. And it was unbelievable.
Are we talking about
Holy
Bill?
Cow.
No, Jack.
From
Treasure Tracer.
Yes.
Holy cow. It was unbelievably, extremely well edited. It was over the top. It completely blew our show out of the water. It was really, and I had so much fun with it. I thought it was great.
Oh, so did I. I thought it was hilarious.
And so I hope that, Toby and Shelley can look at what we did and get a giggle out of it as well. It was, like I said, neither Lou nor I have a mean bone in our body, and we're not the type of people to, point out the flaws in somebody. But when you're doing a spoof show, you kind of have to a little bit.
Yeah.
And so we went through and we found some things that we thought were a little bit amusing, and we did. We poked fun at it, and I hope they, take it in the spirit in which it was intended.
I think they do. I think that they do have a sense of humor. I think that, they possibly may have learned a lesson from the whole Teton Trapper thing, that we just take ourselves way too seriously, and just to relax and have fun with this. And I think they have. I think that, there was a lot of drama that went on last year within the FinTube community. I think we're all past that. When I met him at Finbury, that was definitely, apparent that is way beyond us, and we're all just having fun and moving forward with this. But I thought the parody was completely hilarious. You guys did a great job with it, and putting out the second version too. Thank you for that. That was. So let me get to. We'll get way off topic here, but there's a couple other questions. One that came from Ken Blythe in the chat room, and he said,
"We love Ken Blythe.
Yes, he is a subscriber and chats a lot with you guys. But he said, at Gallagher Entertainment, happy V-Day, and you did a great reading of the Peggy chapter." He wanted to say.
Oh, thank you so much. That's so kind.
And if you guys aren't familiar with what he's talking about, that like Ronnie said a couple months ago, that they actually were gifted the book from Michael, MEH. A lot of you don't know.
You've done your research, man. I can't believe this.
He has a great channel where he puts out videos. I love it. What he's doing is he's talking directly to Forrest Fenn, like a personal video to him, and just saying his comments. But MEH did gift both Lou and Ronnie a Thrill of the Chase book, and they both had an opportunity to read it. And then both Lou and then Ronnie in their respective different videos did do a kind of a review on what chapter they felt was most important to them and stood out to them. So Lou, I'll give you a chance to talk about that real quick since Ken brought that up. But yes, it is your birthday, right? Let's talk about that really quick.
Birthday tomorrow, and it is number 60, so it's kind of a big one.
It's a big one. Yeah, absolutely. Happy birthday. Cheers, brother.
Wait. Okay, hold on.
Are you ready? Oh, you can't drink first. What are you doing?
It's my damn birthday.
Oh, you can do whatever you want, right?
Here you go.
Ching. Cheers.
So
what was that? Antiperspirant you put up there, Ronnie?
Actually,
what was that?
Here, let me use this one here. There's mace. There.
I heard that helps your hair grow. What the hell?
It ain't working for Ronnie.
Yeah.
I know.
Keep saying,
go ahead, Lou.
I keep saying that Ron's brain is so big, it's pushing his hair out.
Actually, Forrest Fenn said that too.
Did he
That
really?
was from Dwight. Yeah, Dwight Eisenhower had said it, and so Forrest Fenn picked it up too.
But then
maybe
somebody
that's where
else
I
said
got
it wasn't Dwight Eisenhower said it was somebody else, so they got to credit somebody else. So Lou, talk to Ken really quick. Ken took the opportunity to talk in here and was very happy with your reading of the Peggy chapter.
Well, I'll tell you this. I don't want to bring the whole show down, but about 3 years ago, in fact, August 1st, 3 years ago, I had my prostate removed because I had prostate cancer. And I could go into a lot of details and elaborate, but I won't. But I will say this. My PSA, which is something that determines the interest in your prostate, that being at 13.2, when it's supposed to be between 0 and 4.0, was an obvious sign that I had a problem. And my father had prostate cancer as well. So my point is, I went through having my prostate removed. A lot of people say to me, well, you're a cancer survivor. It's hard for me to claim that. I escaped cancer. I had my prostate removed.
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah.
I'm not recommending one way or another. It's such an individual thing between people that, but what I do is, if anyone has any questions at any time, any man that has a question about prostate health, I am there. I'm not a doctor, and I don't play one on the YouTube, but I will say this. I went through it. It was hell, and I survived, and I know that you can too. I'm talking to you. If you have prostate cancer or suspect that you might, you can make it through this. And I will tell you right now that my email address is Lou, L-O-U, at menaresosmart.com. If you need help, if your head is in the wrong place, you're confused, you don't understand what things mean, I'm offering this up to you. I promised myself when I was going through this that I would do this once I recovered. And so I'm here. I'm here for any man that's going through prostate cancer. And so when I heard that Forrest had suffered from kidney cancer, it hurt. It really hurt me, because I know what he must have gone through with radiation and chemotherapy and all of that. And so I feel like I can kind of relate. That's my neighbor. Sorry. See it. I can relate to what Forrest went through. And so I feel kind of a personal bond with him through the cancer.
Yeah.
And so that episode with Peggy reminded me so much of my wife, Teresa. I'm going to share this. I've never shared this story, not even with Ronnie. But at one point, when I had gotten home from the hospital, I was still attached to a bag. And I was going through so much pain and so much discomfort that I couldn't even empty it myself. My wife was there.
Yeah.
That, my friends, is love. And that is why my wife and I have been together for almost 30 years. And that is what I took from the story with Peggy.
Yeah. And that's a lot of people, Lou, will read through the book and they're so focused on trying to find subtle hints.
Bingo.
That they're missing, I think, the lessons that this man who has lived such a great life and lived it to the fullest and continues to live it, are missing. That they're overwhelmed by the value of the treasure. They missed a lesson. So, Lou, I think that if you haven't watched it, guys, go back and watch the episode where Lou gives his review of the Ode to Peggy chapter. And again, what you're saying, and you're kind of synopsisizing a little bit, and you're bringing us a lot of new stuff to that is great. And I appreciate that. Thank you, Lou.
I want to hear from Ronnie.
Ronnie.
Well, I mean, for me, I just thought that the part where he's in Vietnam it's got to be the longest chapter in the book by far.
Sure.
And so obviously it's a big part of his story to Forrest. But by the same token, the tea with Olga, again, back to cancer and how his spin on that and how he had promised to do things for her. And it's pretty touching, and it humanizes him. It actually yeah, it just doesn't make him some eccentric guy that buried a treasure in the Rockies. Hey, he's a human. And I think that and also the Vietnam story, best for me at least, did the humanization of him.
Sure. And one thing, I was talking to a good friend of mine, DeCall Thomas, this week about something that stood out to me, and that I never really tripped up in my mind about that chapter, My War for Me, was the fact that, the headstone that he tripped over, and that he read the poignant phrase on there, if you should ever think of me when I pass this veil, forgive a sinner and smile at a homely girl. He was so wrapped up in trying to remember that phrase that he forgot the soldier's name. And I got to thinking about that, and DeCall Thomas and I were probably on the phone for an hour, this week, talking about that, and how, is that what his whole legacy is about? Is that he was so focused on trying to remember what wasn't important, but what was important was trying to remember this man and his name, that because it says, if you should ever think of me when I have passed this veil. Well, Forrest Fenn remembered the phrase, which wasn't even the phrase that this man came up with. It was somebody else's. And whether we know this is fabricated or not, 85% true, 15% not, that he forgot the man's name. And isn't that what was the most important part? And so was that part of Forrest Fenn's legacy? And that he was thinking about was that I don't want to be forgotten. I want my name to be remembered. And if this treasure is ever found in our lifetime or whatever, are we going to remember Forrest Fenn's name? And I think we are. And I think that's a big part of this. And I don't think it's the whole part.
Jake,
I think it's a big part about what
come here,
the book
Grandpa.
is about.
Come here.
It's just something that tripped up in our mind. And I know you guys are hitting on, but that's one thing that just this last week that I'd never really even thought of, kind of really tripped up in my mind, is that, God, he was so focused on that.
So it's kind of funny. I know you just alluded to this a little bit, but let's say that the treasure isn't found for 50 years. Are people going to remember?
We got a guest appearance coming in here, I think.
Yeah. I can see a special guest.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Is this Oliver coming in?
No, this is Jake.
Oh, okay, Jake. Okay.
Come here, Jake. The camera might shake.
There we go. That would be a shake. That would be considered a shake.
Wow.
Okay, here we are.
Here we are. Hey, look at that guy.
Hi, Jake.
Hey, Ronnie's got more hair than you. Look at that.
Dang.
Put a mustache on that kid.
That's my buddy right there.
Hey, Jake. How are you, buddy?
Where are you going to? No. Okay.
He's looking at me. He's all, nope.
A lot of times I'm out here in the garage. Whoops. I guess that's not a very good shot. Sorry, people.
That's all right. Live TV.
A lot of
The
times,
show must go on. We're going to keep
I'm out in the garage here, and I'm editing on a Sunday. And he comes out here, and he always points to the screen. He goes, Ronnie Bappa. Ronnie Bappa. That was until the parody.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
All right, buddy. Here you go.
Bye, Jake. Bye, Jake. See ya.
Climb on the table.
Climb on the table.
Yeah, that's good grandpa advice.
Go jump on the Ultima.
Okay, so there he goes. The Ultima, did you say?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm putting the camera back.
Okay, so we got another a couple questions here. One is to me, and that's from RC. He wanted to ask me about this doodle back here. RC, I'll talk to you more about it. That's the doodle I did as a parody of sorts from the Once Upon a While, and I'll pull it over here. RC wants to see it. RC, you've seen this. I know you have.
Oh, that's a forest.
Yeah, that's a parody of mine that I drew up of the Once Upon a While cover. Okay. Some people understand what that's all about, but if you don't, it's more fun that you don't understand it. You can figure it out. Now this next question comes from a good friend of mine, Minotaur Marino, Justin, who was actually on the show last week, and he questions. This goes to Mass. Men are so smart. What's the best clue hint you feel you have solved and are willing to share it?
Ooh, boy, that's a great question. Here's the thing. It's hard for me to pinpoint it to just one because I get so many solves, Sean. We are like the clearinghouse.
Yeah.
For solves that either didn't pan out or the person just isn't going to be able to go through with it. I saw a picture. I'm sorry, you're probably hearing my daughter's car. I saw a picture of the man that's on the cover of Too Far to Walk. And I saw somebody that had taken a picture, a Google view of exactly the same imagery. And I get the feeling that has got to be close. It's not one of the 9 clues. I understand that.
Are we? Hold on. We're talking about the Too Far to Walk book cover, which just shows.
Show me the man.
Yeah. No. Well, hold on. Hopefully nothing crashes over here. That's a Too Far to Walk cover.
That's right.
Is that the one you're talking about? Okay. Yes. Let's make sure we're talking about the right book. Okay. Go ahead.
And I believe that that picture really is something that people should pay particular attention to. I think that has something to do with the solve area. As far as the clues go, gosh, I can't even say that I'm convinced I have a where warm waters halt. I've heard of probably about 12 different types of areas where there could be warm water that halts. I've heard about fish hatcheries, with brown trout. I'm so confused. Let me tell you a quick story here. This may bring it to a boil. I had
dun.
Yeah. I had a person contact me the other night, and I can't give you his name, but let's just say it's Bob. Okay.
I know Bob.
Bob. You know Bob. He's friends with Sledneck.
Everybody's friends with Sledneck.
I know I am. I'm the host of the Sledneck fan club.
Right.
I can tell you that what happened was I commented on an email that I got from a person, but I thought it was from a different person. And I shot him down. And he writes back to me, he goes, "You obviously have me confused with somebody else." I felt so horrible about that because I was really, I was a douche knot. I really was.
Douche knot.
And this poor guy, he goes, "Hey man, this is me. You know me from this, and you know me." Yeah, sorry about that, but you have the same name, Bob, as another guy that sent me a solve.
That's named Robert.
Yeah. So as you can
Close
see,
enough.
It's really hard for me to narrow it down. I'm like a sponge for Fenn solves. That's what I am. Call me Sponge Lou.
Sponge Lou.
Yeah.
Can't say Bob. That's already taken.
Right. Sorry. Yeah.
So, okay. So Corvette Ronnie, we'll go over to you.
Well, and my thing is you can't solve one clue without then solving the next and the next and the next. But even the one that seems like it would be the simplest is the home of Brown. But I have seen literally, I don't know, what do you think we've got, Lou? Maybe 75 or 100 different solves.
Ronnie, I think that might be an underestimate.
Yeah, well, and almost
you guys got more solves than Forrest Fenn.
Oh, I know. We get them every. I have one.
Forrest Fenn's contacting you guys. Hey, look, I'm a little short on solves. Can you guys send me some shit?
I need a
new scrapbook here. I got to put out scrapbook 207.
Yeah, I need to write another book. I need to write another book.
Send me some shit, would you guys? Hey, when you guys go to visit him in Santa Fe, bring all your shit with you, and we'll get a whole new book.
Hey, can we plug that? Is it okay to plug that on your show?
No, Ab, plug whatever you want. Just don't, plug something.
No.
Inappropriate.
No, it's not
totally inappropriate.
No. If you're not a regular follower of our show, or for that matter, maybe you've never seen it before,
get out from underneath your rock.
Please. Well, Ronnie and I have a fundraising campaign through PayPal right now.
Yep.
It's paypal.me/men are so smart. And here's the deal. Our campaign is twofold. One, we needed to buy the equipment we wanted for us to go live. And we are in a position now where Ronnie and I are going to do a test run. Thursday, Ronnie?
Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday we're going to do a test run. We may, I hate to say this because we may not, but we may be able to go Sunday morning mass live.
You guys are going to break the internet.
Sunday.
If you go live mass on Sunday, you're going to break the internet.
Well, you know, and I might even have that.
They're going to call Forrest Fenn and be like, "Hey, sir, we need to shut down your live webcam on the treasure chest just so we can run this show." Okay, just shut it down. Just kill it just for a little bit. Kill the batteries. Let us run the Men Are So Smart live show. And we're good.
Second part of that is that we want to go and visit with Forrest. Now, Forrest has made it very clear to us that he does not want to do a YouTube show.
No. Yep.
For some personal reasons, which I completely understand.
Yep.
I had some trouble accepting it, but I accepted it. But one of the things that he did end one of his emails with was, "You two are always welcome at my home."
Yep.
So Ronnie and I would love to travel to Santa Fe, New Mexico, and spend a couple of hours with Forrest. And I keep saying this, playing horseshoes or whatever the heck he wants to do, have a little barbecue, whatever. We just want to tell some stories and hear him tell some stories. And we will bring that information back to our readers as Forrest allows.
Yeah.
And that's what we're hoping to do, because I believe the interview that we would have off camera with Forrest would be one of the best that's ever been done. And I've seen some of the things that happened at Fenbury. I've seen all of your pictures. I've seen what Cynthia put up. Believe me, we do the research.
Yep.
And we want to get there to spend some time with a guy, and I think I can speak for Ronnie when I say this, that we both look up to. He is an American hero.
Yeah, definitely.
You got anything to add, Ronnie? Go. I got something to add to this that corresponds with what Lou's saying, but I'll get your part.
I will say this also, that since this is not a money grab, as soon as we have the money needed to buy the tickets and hotel rooms and rental car, then that PayPal will be shut down.
Sure.
So
and is this like a stay at the, Motel 6, or is this a stay at the Santa Fe, San Clemente, we're going to get housekeeping, bed and breakfast. We want to fluff your place. What
all I'm asking for is 2 rooms. 2 rooms, or I don't go.
I'd be happy with a double bed.
Well, no, I mean, we cannot have Terry Scant and Marvel Gaze in separate rooms. This is bullshit, guys. This is not the 70s anymore with the Brady Bunch where, they're sleeping in separate beds. I mean, this is bullshit, guys. Whatever. If we're going to send you guys to Santa Fe, we need good video on this.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, before this show, I did email Forrest, and I emailed Forrest and I said, look, I'm having Lou and Ronnie, who I know come on the show here this Tuesday. Do you have any comments or anything that you want to add to the show? And he said,
"Oh, cool.
There's nothing that I can comment or any questions that I have for them now, but please tell them that I do like their show."
And he's asked us to send him links to our videos too.
Yeah,
he told me in one video, he goes, "I'd love to subscribe to your channel, but evidently YouTube knows more about my password than I do." Is that Fenny or what?
And that's not Fenny enough. A shout out to my good friend over there at This Isn't Fenny Anymore, apparently.
Hey, Sean, can I just tell you, I'm having a great time, man. Thank you so much for having us on.
Well, how many beers have you had? You need to have one more beer so you can have a fucking outstanding time. Okay, well, I'm on 2. I got 2 here, so I'm good.
And, I need to take another hit of mace. Maybe,
and Ronnie's on his second shot of bear spray, apparently.
Yeah.
So, okay, I've got another question, guys, and everybody knows in the chat.
The question from the tall guy that looks like Tom Cruise. Go ahead.
I'm horrible at watching the chat room, but I'm trying to do a good job of it tonight. But Susie Fenhaven, my good wino auntie, asked again, Mass, Men Are So Smart.
Yes.
What jumped out at you when you first started reading the book?
I'll take this first.
Ronnie. Yeah, Ronnie.
Okay, Ronnie, go.
So the thing that was really, and I realize it's not an autobiography, but the book is in such haphazard, the chapters don't follow chronologically his life. They skip around. They're obviously a collection of stories, but even if I were publishing just a collection of stories about me and my family, I would do it in a chronological order. And so it was hard for me to grasp that at first. Like, how could anybody write a book like this? It was just, I don't know, it just hit me very awkwardly.
For me, I can tell you that there are certain things that are out of place. And you go, well, why did he just say that?
What's an example? What do you think is an example of that? Because a lot of people think, and I hate to cut you off here, Lou, but a lot of people think that the subtle hints that are contained within the story are things like you're saying that are out of place. They're aberrations. They're things that are abstract that catch up in your mind. So please embellish on that and tell us what you think.
One of the things that stands out in my mind is a picture. And it's the picture of him standing with his foot on the tree stump with an axe in his hand.
Sure.
I can tell you right now that in the solve that we're about to bring to you, that picture actually plays a very big part in this person's solve.
Cool.
And when I say that, it has a lot to do with the shape of the trunk itself, the tree trunk itself, or rock, depending on how you look at it.
Okay.
Petrified tree. That shape, I think, is very germane to the solve that we're about to bring you probably on Sunday.
Sure.
And it plays a big part. And that just, it stood out to me. Why is he standing there with his foot on this tree stump?
Sure. Well, let me ask you a question as it pertains to that, Lou, and this goes to both of you guys. But we did a video last year that talked about all the different, imagery and illustrations that were in the book. And every one of the illustrations that were in the book, from the very beginning chapter all the way to the epilogue, really kind of matched the story. About Cody, the buffalo, you had a buffalo and him tied to the car. You had, no place for the biddies, and you had these two ladies talking, and you had all these other things. And My War for Me, all the imagery and everything kind of tied to the story. But that very last chapter, the epilogue, that image and that drawing just does not fit. It just doesn't fit with me, and that's one thing. If again, I'm the poem purist and I believe that everything that I need to find the treasure is in the poem, but it doesn't mean that I still don't have fun going down these rabbit holes and looking at things. But that's one thing that stood out to me, and we don't have to go down long about that. But if you go back and you look through the book, it seems like all the images and the drawings seem to fit with the stories, except that one. It just doesn't talk about lumberjacks. He doesn't talk about cutting down trees. Again, Forrest Fenn has admitted here recently that image was more tailored about environmentalism and that we need to take care of our environment a little bit more. And maybe that's the answer to that. But it just doesn't seem to fit within the whole book. And I've got a couple other questions here, but I'll let you respond to that while I find another one here, and we'll go from there.
Okay. Let's see. When are Lou and Ronnie going to Santa Fe? Well, appreciate the question, Victor Fleming. We hope to do it within the next 2 months, but we're at about almost $500 in donations. And I think in order to do this with, we're going to have to rent a car. We're going to have to get a hotel, unless Forrest wants us to just, stay with him. Maybe sleep on the couch.
You can camp out there by the little pond in his house. That would be a great live YouTube video. You out there camping next through Willie in the pond, right?
Yeah.
That's another reason why we're not searchers. I don't camp. Okay.
Right.
I don't go anywhere where you can't plug in a blow dryer.
With hair like that, Lou, yeah. I don't blame you.
It's not real hair.
Would I wear a toupee that looks like this? Seriously.
And I will
My
say
confirmation bias tells me that you might, Lou. You might.
You can take your confrontational bias and
Confrontational bias. That you're just coined a whole new phrase, Lou. Confrontational bias, and that's what this whole complete chase is about.
confrontational bias. That's what we get all the time. Comments on our
we respond a lot to that.
Yeah.
Right. Oh.
Now, honestly, for me, I would hope that if we go to Santa Fe, and even if we had the money in, say, 2 months, I would more prefer to go during Fenbury. So I realize that that's a year away, but I think that would be a ton of fun just to meet everybody else who's involved in the Thrill of the Chase. And
there's a hotel close by.
I'm sure there is.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
but, screw this whole Fenbury thing. If you guys come out to Santa Fe, let's have a beer bury.
Huh.
All right. Yes.
I mean, Ronnie, you could sit in the hotel room and suck down some mace or something, but Lou and I will sit down in the bar with a couple of people and we'll have a beer. We're gonna have a beer bury.
Heck yeah.
Obama can have his beer summit. We can have a beer bury, right? Come on.
I think
if you guys come to Santa Fe, I'm gonna make my way up there and we're gonna bullshit and have a beer together.
Do not threaten me with a good time.
I'm not threatening you. I'm promising you. As long as Ronnie brings a dress, we're gonna have a good time.
I got the dress. It's ready to go.
All right, we got any other questions in here?
Oh, I'm trying to find that. Let's see.
Mike No Dine says, I watch the videos, which is why my chair looks like I'm drunk or crazy, or both sometimes.
Sakar says Lou is my kind of camper.
The older I get, the more I want to glamp. I just can't afford that. Like, there is just.
Ken Blythe says, great bet and whiskey.
That might be
and
a good
Oreos.
mix. We got to name that drink. We got to come up with a Forrest Fenn drink, right?
Yeah.
Ooh.
What would that be?
What would you name that drink?
Indulgence.
Boy. Oh, maybe.
That you pulled that one right out really quick.
That's
the
what
treasure
I do.
chest.
Fendulgence.
There you go.
That's a good one too.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Fendulgence. Tom Sawyer says, at the flip side, the catch is Forrest Fenn wants Ronnie to dress up as Marvel Gaze.
You want to?
No. Terry Scant.
He wants it the other way around. Like, what are you trying to say there, Tom? Are you trying to say, Tom, that Forrest Fenn wants the flip side of Lou and Ronnie? I don't know what you're saying there. We're gonna flip the script a little bit, right?
I gotta be honest and say I just don't have the same cleavage as Ronnie. So I don't think I could pull it off.
That is very important when a woman is wearing a dress, whether the cleavage is there, right?
Yeah.
And all three of us are going to get in trouble here.
Men are so smart.
We are so smart. Women are so smarter, apparently.
Yeah.
Tom Sawyer says, I might have messed that up. What did he say?
Yeah. Yes.
Maybe you did.
Yeah. You messed that up, Huck Finn.
So where does your channel, where does Men Are So Smart go from here? We get you guys out there to Beer Bury, and we get you to meet Forrest Fenn. And I'm gonna come up there and we're gonna have fun. We'll do a live show or we'll do something stupid. We'll have a beer or two or some mace or whatever Ronnie wants to do, whatever Ronnie does. But where does the channel go from here? What are you guys gonna do? What's the next step for you two?
Well, that's a great question.
I think the live shows are going to add a whole new aspect. And there's going to be a pretty steep learning curve in regards to doing live shows. So we'll kind of have to see, but it's going to be different. It's definitely going to change. I think maybe not a lot at first. I'm sure we'll probably still be recording some shows just so Luke can have something to edit on his days off.
Thanks, Ronnie. Love ya.
You're taking time away from Oliver and is it Jake, right? You're taking time away from Oliver and Jake. Yep. Guys, do the live. It's so easier. It's fun. You just have fun with it and go from there. You're gonna find out you're gonna email me and be like, Sean, you're a complete idiot. It's horrible. But no, you're going to be like, man, this is so much more fun and easier. Honestly, you're going to find you're going to have a lot more time to spend with Jake and Oliver. Honestly, Lou, you really are.
Yeah. Well, that's the most important thing to me.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right. Let's see. We talked about the spoof, the parody rather. And so you're asking us what's in the future. Ron is right. We'll probably do the Sunday morning mass live. Our next goal would probably be 150,000 views. We're going to continue doing this, delivering the same kind of content that we do. We do 2 Forrest Fenn shows a week, Friday and Sunday. And so that allows for us to do a show on Monday and Wednesday. And we'll just continue to do the same sort of content that we bring you. We search high and low for it. We talk about it. We're going to continue with our appreciation for our viewers. That's the most important thing. I know I said that before, but God, we're nothing without that. And
Lori James just said more spoofs at Ronnie and Lou.
Well, you know what? Ronnie said our parodies are kind of on a hiatus. Ronnie, we watched a video yesterday.
Oh my God.
Am I right, Ronnie? Hey, can I talk about this or not?
Well, you can't. I wouldn't say the person's name because it's somebody that Sean has already mentioned. But
okay, all right. Well, we watched the video yesterday.
Go ahead. That's funny.
No. I don't want to get in trouble. But
again, we don't have a mean bone in our body, and so we don't want to burn anybody.
You're not being mean.
It is being mean a little bit.
Okay. Oh, yeah, never mind.
Let's just say that this person did a parody of themselves.
It seemed that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it was a ridiculous video. So I don't know, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. You've got me.
I know you got
me hooked. You got me hooked. I can't wait for it.
Maybe we'll talk about it on Sunday morning mass. Maybe we'll do that. Okay.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Maybe.
Do it.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm actually so looking forward to this new Solve video you guys are going to do. That's going to be fun. I definitely look forward to it.
That's going to be a bunch of hours.
And I honestly think that you two are. If anybody wants to send their solve to anybody, don't send it to me. Don't send it to a Gypsy's Kiss. Don't send it to K-Pro and Cow. Don't send it to Jason or Sasha or Rick or any of the other main Fenn tubers out there. Send it to Lou and Ronnie.
Thanks.
Get your unbiased, fun, they're going to give it to you straight kind of answer. Don't give it to us because we're already so biased. These two are not. They're not even searchers. Send it to these guys. You guys need to be the checks and balance between solves and just have fun.
Okay, basically, we don't have a dog in the fight, and so
exactly.
We kind of look at it, with a, just a little bit different view, skewed a little differently.
But what we've done now,
it's not different. It's just you don't care whether it's in Montana, Colorado, Wyoming, or New Mexico. You're just having fun with this, and you're going to give them an honest, unbiased, objective look at it.
But when you send it to us, please start with Lou and Ronnie. Warm waters halt here. Start there. Okay.
Right.
Because if you skip over that clue, we're going to skip over your email.
Right.
We've changed our criteria some.
Right.
Yeah.
And just start it off with, I'm a little crazy.
Yeah.
If you started off with that, just come out right out, because Forrest Fenn, when I sat down with him in August of last year, I said, Forrest Fenn, what have you learned in this whole treasure hunt? And he said, I've learned that 7% of the community is completely crazy. And he said that before. He said that well before I ever asked him that. But the point of the matter is each one of us in this treasure hunt is a little fucking crazy. We all are. We all are. I mean, but if those that are really the crazy the most are those that are always trying to convince us that they're not crazy. It's those of us that are the sane people that are willing to admit that they're a little freaking crazy. And we should all admit that we're a little crazy. So all of us in this treasure hunt community, to include Lou and Ronnie, we're all a little bit crazy. But as long as we can admit to that and just have fun and not take ourselves so seriously, man, it's just have a good time. Only one person or one couple or one group is ever going to find this treasure. The rest of us are not. So just have fun with this and enjoy it. and be happy that we're living in the moment. We are all involved in this great 21st century treasure hunt that we may never get the opportunity again. And if it's found in our lifetime, we can all admit that we were part of it. If it's not found in a lifetime, we were the first ones that were, and we're in this, and we're in the fight, and we're in the hunt and having a great time. And that's what the thrill of the chase is. It's not the quarry. It's not, capturing the treasure, because only one of us is going to do it. And that one person may completely screw it up, and ruin it for everybody. Or that one person may knock it out of the park and make this, the perfect ending to this treasure hunt. We don't know. But Ronnie and Lou, both of you guys are doing an amazing job. I think that the treasure hunt community will all stand up and applaud what you guys are doing. And we look forward to so much more great content and fun stuff from you guys. Just keep it real, have fun, and just be yourselves. Don't take
Sean.
ourselves seriously. You guys are doing an amazing job. I love it.
Very
love
kind of you. Thank you.
Keep doing it. Yep.
You bet.
You're welcome. Absolutely.
It's kind of our forte anyway, so might as well keep it right in our wheelhouse.
One of the things that we strive for is to try to be honest with everything that we do. It's not always comfortable for us to talk about our personal lives or our married lives or whatever it might be. But we made a promise at the beginning of this that we would always be honest with our viewers. And we hope that we continue to do that. One of the things, and I know we probably need to get out of here, but one of the things that I've noticed about this is I like to study society. And it's really interesting because we all have a lot of the same enjoyment, the same things that we like to do. But we also have these things that are kind of off on the side here that are kind of scattered. And when I say that, what I mean is not everybody is into the Fenn treasure, but there are certain people that are. And I would call that a subculture. And what happens in subcultures is there's a struggle for dominance. And the problem that I see with the Fenn community, and I love each and every one of you, is we don't need to struggle to find who the lead searcher is. We don't need to be the most dominant searcher in the Fenn treasure. I think it's more important for us to share ideas and get this treasure found. By putting people down, putting their solves down, you don't accomplish anything. You're just proving that you're trying to be dominant. And we don't need that. We really don't need that. What we need is a togetherness, a cohesiveness. That's all I'm saying.
Kumbaya, brother. No, you're making a very good point, Lou. The thing is that none of us are wrong until one of us is right. That's the whole point. We cannot prove anyone's wrong. And if we just have fun with this and accept that all of us are different people, we all have different ideas, then we're just going to have more fun with this. Yeah. And just enjoy it and just keep going on. Ronnie, what do you have to add to that? I know.
Well, I see that I think that searching and researching, obviously two different skill sets.
Yes.
And I think that the best possible way to get this thing found is to have an expert researcher along with an expert searcher. And I know that not a lot of people are going to put their faith in somebody, an armchair researcher. And so it's hard to get two people to buy in together on that. But I think that that's really where it's all going to come together.
Sure. I disagree. I think we need a psychic.
Well, we could read some tarot cards. We could have a little woo-woo if you like. I mean, anybody got any woo-woo out there? Hey, James Cruz, how are you? I didn't even say hi to anybody in the chat room, guys.
Let's do that now.
Who you want to say hi to? Hey, everybody in the chat room.
Hey, everybody.
Hey. Right,
I mean, we've got over 100 people here tonight just hanging out with us and stuff. So that's great. But I mean, it's the usual suspects, the great people that we appreciate, like Lou and Ronnie have always said. We wouldn't have a show if it wasn't for you guys in the chat room. It doesn't matter if you have 10,000 subscribers or 50 subscribers. It doesn't matter. As long as you're talking about the chase, having a good time, and putting out there what you think is good content. It shouldn't matter who you are or how big your channel is. Just get out there, and we try and keep it simple. I think Ronnie and Lou have done a good job of that. Other Fenn tubers out there have done a good job of just keeping it simple and putting content out there. Guys, just get out there and talk, you know, and if you're interested, again, I'm not trying to plug my own show or promote my own show, but if you're interested in coming out here and just talking about what is important to you or is passionate, you know, in this treasure hunt to you, come on the show. Let's talk and let's just air it out there. Let's talk about your rabbit hole that you want to talk about. And I think that's what's fun. And that's what about having Ronnie and Lou on here. I think they've, again, you know, I think they've done an amazing job of being somewhat outsiders and giving a fresh perspective that a lot of us people that are so deep and so tightly focused on this chase, we forget about. And I think the thing that I learned so much from Ronnie and Lou is when they first read the book and they went back and they talked about the chapters that were so important to them and stood out to them. And what I learned so much from them was that it was, again, like I've said, life lessons that this man is trying to pass on from us. And we as searchers get so overwhelmed in trying to find subtle hints in the stories that are only going to help us with the clues that we miss the bigger picture. We miss the message that this man who has lived an amazing life is trying to pass on to us. And I think that that is the most important part about this book. In every one of these stories, there's a life lesson that we can all learn from it that can be passed on from all of our, we like to call him our grandpa, and that's Forrest Fenn. And he's our inherent adopted grandfather that he's passing on these life lessons. And that's what I think is so important about the book. And I think Lou and Ronnie, you guys both did an amazing job of pointing that out from an unbiased perspective of reading that book for the first time. And stop looking for all these hints and just focus on the real message that this man is trying to pass on to us. Guys,
Sean, we love your show.
Thank you.
Really
Yeah.
You know, we could have gone on a lot of different other shows, but this is the one I think that we really wanted to do most.
Well, we drink beer here. Why would you not want to go?
What's not to like about that?
Well, thank you guys. You know, it's a pleasure having you guys on here. I'm a big fan of you guys, have been since you guys first got into the Fenn chase and started talking about this. And that's why we, you know, we don't do the weekend update anymore, but that was why we highlighted you guys and said, man, you guys need to go listen to these guys because they got a good message. So appreciate what you guys are doing. Keep it up. Keep up what you're doing.
I'm going to stick around for a while and try to answer some of the people on the chat. Okay.
Yep.
I'll stick around.
Absolutely. Once we stop the live show, the chat still goes on for a while. Lou, Ronnie, you guys are more than welcome to do that. You know, I always say goodbye to everybody. I've got a family that in the next room, I need to go attend to them. So we're going to cut the show off here. But it's been great having the both of you two on here. I appreciate you guys coming on here. And it's been great talking to you guys. Very entertaining. Getting to know you guys a little bit better and what your show is all about, what your goals are. Really excited to hear about what comes out of your meeting with Forrest. You know, I'd love the opportunity to come up there, have a beer with you. We don't even have to do a show. I don't even want to do that. I just want to come up there and have a drink and some mace, and I'm going to spray Ronnie with some mace. And you got to meet Cynthia. Apparently Cynthia sprayed her crotch area with some bear spray, and you know, you guys can talk about that a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I want to do that. I'm just being honest.
Cynthia would tell you that's not a good experience.
Hi, Cynthia.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, it's been a great night. We enjoy listening to you guys on Men Are So Smart channel, and we look forward every Friday to your guys' Fenn mail and your responding. You guys do, again, like I said, all us Fenn tubers could learn a lot from the two of you, you know, and how well you guys communicate with your fans and your community. It's definitely a lesson that we could learn from you guys. Keep up the great work. Keep up doing the Fenn Mail Friday and Mass on Sundays. We all look forward to it. Absolutely.
Thank you. Remember, we're less than 1,000 viewers away from 100,000. If you can help it, appreciate it.
Yeah. Holy cow.
Yep. Get them
Thank
going,
you,
guys.
Sean.
So go to their channel,
Sean.
like it, subscribe, you know, to whatever they put out there. Even if you don't like what they put out there, go listen to them and give them a view. You know, I think they do a good job of providing an unbiased look at all this.
Well, and you know what
any
we're trying
last
to
words
do.
from the two of you?
Yeah, I think that our goal is we're trying to grow the channel. Thank you.
Anyway,
Now you're in the know.
you're in the know. You are now in the no zone.
Thank you, buddy.
Anyway,
Yep.
guys, it's been great.
Thanks,
We
Josh.
appreciate all of you guys in the chat room tonight. I know we didn't get to recognize a lot of you guys, but you're a lot of the usual suspects that we appreciate you guys coming out here and enjoying the show. At the end of the show, we're not at the beginning of the show asking you to like our video and to subscribe to us. We're not doing that. You guys are smart enough. If you like this show, give it a like. If you don't like it, give it a dislike. I really don't give a rat's ass. As long as you're here and you're having a good time.
That's
all
our
that
motto.
matters to us. Guys, we appreciate you coming out. And you know what I'm going to say next. We will catch you all on the flip side.
Flip side.
Good night, guys. We'll see you.
Bye-bye.